Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the British Esports stream. My name is Elliot Bond. I am your host, and of course, I work for the British Esports Association. Thank you all for joining in the chat. I can see lots of familiar names there, lots of new names as well. So, welcome in, everybody, if you're new to the channel. British Esports Association is a great not for profit organisation who specialise in grassroots esports, showcasing the best talent, promoting career advice, and generally sharing our passion and love of esports across the nation. So, as I said, my name's Elliot. I'm your host today, and today I've got an interview with Vulpine Esports, which is another UK esports org. Thank you very much for the subs and the follows, everybody as well who's been in. Hullwise, is that? Yeah, sorry if I mispronounce anybody's names, but yeah, really do appreciate it. Like I said, we are not for profit, so we don't keep anything from that we make from Twitch. It all goes back into either charity or to the running of the org. So, really appreciate you guys being here anyway. Cool. So just before we get started and I introduce our guests today, I've got a couple of British esports updates for everybody who tunes in on the regular. Of course, next week is the end of championship season this year. We will be returning in spring season in January, but Wednesday will be Overwatch, and that will be the last broadcasted matches this year. So please do tune in if Overwatch is your thing. It'll be at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, the same as all of our streams start at 4 p.m. And that'll be fantastic. Hopefully, a really, really good showing for the last game. On Friday, I've got my fingers crossed that Dom will be back with a Christmas Sackos Snackos with Sue Collins, of course, esports host and commentator. I'm not sure what they'll be cooking, but hopefully something Christmassy that you can all go and bake if you fancy copying any of the weird recipes that they tend to come up with. And then, of course, the following week, as I said, champs will have finished, but I will be back doing a season review this time next Wednesday. So just looking at how the season's gone, looking at the leaderboards, looking at predictions for next year, and hopefully just kind of bringing in some of the admins and moderators who have been working with us behind the scenes this season to get their thoughts as well. So please do tune in for that. That should be pretty good. And anyway, I've been yabbering on for a little bit now, so it's time for me to bring in our guests. So without further ado, I'd like to bring in Luke and Lizzie Squires from Vulpine Esports.
Hi.
Hi Lizzie, hi Luke, how are you? Okay?
Good. Good, thank you.
Excellent. Now I know you guys are sitting right behind each other, so there's
Mhm.
some mic coordination that needs to be played well here. So I'll try and direct my questions to you sort of one by one. First of all, though, why don't you just introduce yourselves? I'll give it to you, Lizzie, since I can see that Luke's mic is muted already. Why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what Vulpine is?
Okay. I'm Lizzie. I'm also known as Kitty Cat on the server, and I'm one of the co-owners of Vulpine Esports. And Vulpine has been going since April this year, so we're a relatively new organisation. And we were set up because we noticed that there was a lack of positivity in esports in general. You know, the stigma against gaming and esports for as a place for everybody was there, and so we set up Vulpine to try and counter that, you know, to give us to give anyone a chance and anyone a voice in esports and to be able to play. So my background is psychology. I'm a graduate psychologist, and I've also done a lot of marketing and stuff like that. So that's where kind of I come from. And obviously, I'm Luke's other half. So yeah,
That's right. I can understand your pain, Luke. I also my girlfriend is a psychologist as well. So
oh wow, okay,
yeah, no, I'm only teasing. I'm
it's all
only
right.
teasing. Luke, I'll hand it over to you then. Tell me a little bit about your involvement and kind of what's your role at Vulpine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Luke. I'm known as the Final Tilt or just Tilt. Fun fact for you: this name came about because I do tilt very easily in video games. And there was one day that I was just going to say, right, that's it, no more tilting for me. So I changed my name to the Final Tilt just to kind of remind me that tilt was going to be the last one, and it never was. And I'm still tilting to this day. But I do a lot of kind of behind the scenes stuff at Vulpine Esports. So I deal with trying to gain new teams within the organization, and I do a lot of kind of behind the scenes paperwork that a lot of people don't that they don't see. So people in Vulpine, if obviously they're in our Discord server, will usually tend to see that I just kind of stick around playing video games most of the day. But yeah, I do a lot of paperwork, like kind of behind the scenes, making sure teams are happy. But yeah, my kind of background is I came from being a player of esports and gaming, not the other definition of player. And yeah, I just decided that this isn't the first organization that I've owned. I've owned a couple which have fallen kind of flat on their face.
Okay.
But I decided that once the other organizations had fallen flat on their face, I wasn't going to do it again. But there was just that one thing that was missing from my life, and yeah, we decided to fill that gap with Vulpine Esports.
That's quite a story. Yeah, I'm impressed. I mean, obviously, everybody here in this chat and myself included as well, we're probably all coming from a gaming background. So I think we're all a little bit jealous of that job in some way, shape or form. Not the paperwork aspect of it, though, I must say, but definitely the playing video games. So you've both told me a little bit about Vulpine and kind of your role within it. So why was it formed? Was there a single decision from Luke? Was it the fact that you'd had a couple of failed enterprises already and wanted to just keep going until there was a successful one? Or was there another pivotal reason that you guys formed it, Luke, if you don't mind?
No, that's fine. Yeah, so part of it was because I was, I'll be honest, I started to kind of slump into depression. I suffer with it anyway. I was coming home from work. I was playing video games. And this is pretty much my routine, right? But after a while, because I've joined organizations, I've owned organizations, and I've kind of left them, or as I said earlier, they're fallen flat on their face. But for a little while, I decided that I wasn't going to be part of any organization. I was just going to kind of do my own thing, and it didn't help my depression at all, because I felt like something was missing out of my life. And I think one of the reasons why we did this was, one, to kind of help fill that void, and two, I think if I'd be correct in saying this, but we went to Insomnia. I think it was 63.
Okay.
I think. And it was the first kind of Insomnia event that we'd been to as a family. Like singularly, we've been there. We've gone to events. But our daughter Spooky, she participated in a 1v1 Overwatch team, and in a 1v1 Overwatch tournament, which she absolutely dominated in. And people were saying, coming up to us and saying, it's like, how is she not signed for a team? How is she not signed for a team? And just like positivity in esports, obviously women in esports is also a very difficult thing.
Of course.
And I think one of the other reasons we created this organization was to help give our daughter Spooky an organization to compete in as well.
Fantastic! I didn't know that you had a daughter. So how old is she? And is she interested in just Overwatch specifically, or?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lizzie, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So Spooky was an Overwatch player, sort of not consistently before Christmas last year, and then she was starting to compete in sort of 1v1s and sort of minor competitions. And like Luke said, it wasn't just what struck me, I think, more than anything about the Insomnia is the only reason she lost that tournament was because she was up against a top 500 player. And the amount of people that were stood around her going, hang on, she's a girl and she's like beating adults. And it kind of struck me there and then that there wasn't the equality for women or anybody who was a minority in esports. It was kind of I suppose you call it an epiphany. And I just thought, we need to give girls like her and kids like her, a place where they can be a part of something and have the support and have, the chance to be able to do what everybody else seems to be able to do quite easily. And after talking to more and more people, I mean, Luke and I kind of started Vulpine because Luke was more kind of the esports side. So he wanted to have another esports team. But from my point of view, it was more about integrating that kind of esports side with a more positive attitude and just being more inclusive, letting women and young kids and LGBTQ and anybody who feels marginalized in these sports, giving them a place to be. And that is what Vulpine is about. It's about giving these people a voice, giving them support, and giving them a place where they can be and feel safe.
Perfect. Thank you. That's such a good explanation and a really, really good reason, if you had to give one, as to why you've done this. So yeah, kudos to both of you for setting it up and giving that opportunity to people who need it. So I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've heard and read and witnessed and seen about Vulpine is your big focus on mental health and well-being and from strength to strength in that. But you touched on a little bit on women in esports there as well. And now, as a husband and wife team, Lizzie, I imagine you've got some things to say on the whole women in esports scene and how important that is. Would you mind just exploring that a little bit for us?
Absolutely. Well, it kind of goes back to what I've already said, is that the gaming industry in general has kind of been historically a kind of a frat house.
Yeah.
White male or just male usually. So the fact that the initiative of women in esports has come up and women are actually being given a chance to have an equal footing in esports, whether that be as a gamer, player, whether that be as staff, as for somebody who runs an org as a woman, I personally come up against quite a lot of blowback. Just the you're not a true gamer if you're a girl. It's just the amount I see on Twitter is just horrendous.
Yeah.
So the fact that bigger organisations, people like the BEA, and courses, and I know there's a university in London, isn't there? They're actually doing a women in esports. Is it London? An esports women in esports kind of scholarship, which I think again is brilliant. So women in esports is really, obviously, really close to my heart.
Yeah.
With me being an esports owner and with my daughter being an esports player, and she's actually captain of our Academy Overwatch team as well.
Oh, so amazing.
Yeah, and it's good. And we have a couple of girls. Unfortunately, the girl in our Dynamos team who came second, but we'll talk about that later. Again, was our hitscan DPS in Dynamos, which is our 3.8, 4.2K team in Overwatch, was also a girl. And I was really proud of the fact that we had, women representing us in Vulpine. So yeah, it is something that I really want to be a part of in the future, and I think it's an amazing initiative. I really do.
Good stuff. Thank you. That's a really, really informative answer. So I wanted to talk a lot actually about the initiative that we had sort of in October, a few weeks ago. Well, it feels like a few weeks ago. It was actually a couple of months ago now, which was, of course, World Esports Day. It was something that we were growing organically throughout this year. We didn't approach any major organizations or anything which we kind of would normally have done for an event like this. But given that it was the first one and the fact that the Global Esports Federation were involved, we had people all over the world, committing to support it, and we thought, from the UK side of things, we'll give this a little bit of free rein for it to take whatever form it wants to take, and it can grow organically. Now, you guys had actually reached out to us briefly for a random other query like a few weeks earlier, and I thought I'll tell you about it. And of course, you went off and did some fundraising. How much did you make in the end? Just quickly, Lizzie, if you don't mind, if you've got the number there. No.
Yeah, we made over £500, just over
That's
£500.
fantastic. Now, of
Which
course,
is
all of that went to
amazing.
charity, which was Special Effect. If you don't know Special
Absolutely.
Effect, please do go check them out. SpecialEffect.org, are an amazing charity that helps disabled gamers and kind of mentally challenged gamers. So yeah, please do go check them out as well. But yeah, the whole thing was to do whatever you wanted, really, whether it was host a tournament or just do a stream or play a game with some friends, and celebrate esports in whatever way, shape or form. You didn't have to donate. There was no required fundraising or anything like that, but you guys raised, I think, the highest amount of from any single organization that we had contribute. So that was absolutely fantastic.
I didn't know
What
that. Thank you.
what was
That's
what
really
was the
good.
drive behind your fundraising? How on earth did you end up with so much money being donated?
Well, I previously, but like I said, part of my background is in marketing and promotion. So I kind of went back to that and thought, okay, well, how can we raise as much money as possible for Special Effect? Special Effect is an amazing, amazing charity. And like yourselves and ourselves, we're not for profit. Any money that they get goes back into giving equipment to disabled gamers who want to be able to game. And both Luke and I thought it was an amazing idea to sort of amalgamate the two of them to make to raise as much money as possible. So we kind of we did a live stream. I think it was about 3 hours. Was it about 3 hours?
Yes, sorry, it was something about 3 hours.
Okay.
3 or 4 hours, something like that. And we had a charity match between ourselves and one of your teams, actually, the Coventry Crosshairs. Big shout out to them; they were amazing.
Yeah.
So we had a charity match for them, and then we actually did a pub quiz style thing, which went down quite well, and we kind of pushed it. So if we raised a certain amount, then obviously Luke or I had to do something, and Luke had to answer loads of questions, really hard questions on League, which was really funny. But yeah, it was a really good night, and it was just amazing to see how many people came out and support us. And we've kind of seen this over and over again with Vulpine, is that in the initial stages, and I probably should have mentioned that before, but when we first started and when we actually put ourselves out as an organisation that promoted positivity and inclusivity and supporting our players, a lot of people didn't believe us.
Yeah.
And they thought, and we also got there's no way you can change toxicity in esports. That's just how it is. And we kind of pushed back against that and went, actually, no, there is a different way to be in esports. There is, a place for being professional and being positive and supporting your players. And throughout the whole 9 months, I mean, bearing in mind, we've only been going since April this year. So 9 months we've been doing this. The amount of support and the amount of people that we've had come to us and say, actually, this is actually a really good thing. This is something that's needed in the community. It's needed in esports in general, and to push it forward. And being part of the World Esports Day, which again, I mean, I watched some of the streams that you did with some of the the people in esports before when it was being announced. And again, that there's this drive towards positivity and drive towards being more inclusive, and getting the education out there and getting people understanding what esports is about. And it's just this last month has just gone from being as starting off going, well, you're never going to do it, to 9 months down the line, and with World Esports Day happening, just an incredible amount of support, which is very humbling for me at some points. Well, for both of us, really.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, it was it was something new for us as well, and quite humbling to see how many people did get involved in all of the different avenues that they went down to support and showcase their passion and their enthusiasm for esports in general. So yeah, it was very humbling. It was a great day. I think we streamed for just under 5 hours. We did a charity match against the RAF as well, and the
I remember that one.
yeah, and that was fantastic. We did all three of our disciplines, and it was a good laugh. Don't get me wrong, it really was. Yeah, but we did we didn't push the donations at all. I think we got a little bit, but nowhere near as successful as you guys. So kudos to you. Really well done. That was a fantastic effort on both of you.
Well, we're hoping to
behalves.
do it again next year as well. So we're hoping to do raise some more money for special effects. So
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be bigger and better next year. Obviously, like I said, we were going to let it grow organically this year just to see how it formed. Next year, we'll be pushing those avenues a little bit stronger, reaching out to organizations individually and finding ways for them to contribute on a more major scale. Perfect. All right, so that's special effect and World Esports Day. That was one of the topics I wanted to talk about. Now, the next major thing I want to talk about is actually to do with something that you're doing right now, which is, of course, streaming. You've got the Valiant program, is that right?
Yeah.
In saying is that what it's called? Luke, can you just tell me a little bit about what the Valiant program is and how it supports streamers?
I'll be honest, I am probably not the best person to answer this question, as Lizzie tends to deal with the Valiants
Fair
a
enough.
lot more than I do.
If you want to swap it over, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, what we do is me and Lizzie, we essentially selected each of the teams, and I kind of oversee like the Apex Legends team that we have, and basically, like as I said earlier, the paperwork, and Lizzie kind of deals with the Overwatch teams that we have and the Valiants team. So she's probably the best person to answer that question, I'll be honest.
All right, Lizzie, hand it over to you then.
Yeah. So previously, Vulpine had an actual stream team. So your generic stream team that came in that promoted the organization and just streamed on our main channel. And what we found was that we couldn't really give the kind of support that we wanted to people. So what we decided to do, and again, this is something really new. We're kind of branching out into new stuff all the time, but this is another new one for us. So the Valiance program, I decided to set up because what we wanted to do was to help small streamers. So instead of having your generic stream team, what we said was, okay, well, people have to apply to the program, but once you're in, we actually help and support these streamers grow their own channel, which is something new. I don't believe it's ever been done before. So they come in, they get access to. We've got a couple of people called Callie and Panda who manage it, and they are brilliant. They're experienced streamers, and they come in and they help things like Streamlabs and setting up streams and how to sort of generate that starting off and get yourself to affiliate. I'm noticing there's lots of things about the dog in the chat, so we'll have to get Treacle up at some point. So it was kind of, and again, this is something that's kind of taking people a long while to get used to, is that we're not asking people to come in and be part of our stream team. We're asking them to come in and get support and actually grow their own channels, which again is something that we've not done. And with my background in sort of promotion and marketing, I can help them in terms of their branding and all that kind of stuff that helps them grow. And obviously Callie and Panda are also, Callie can help them, it's similar to me, and Panda can help them again, but they're more technical than me. So when it comes to things like Streamlabs, people ask me a question and I'm like, I have no idea. You need to go and speak to Callie and Panda. So yeah, it's something that you can sign up to on our website. The program is open to everybody, whether you've got one viewer, whether you've got one follower, whether you've got 1,000, it really doesn't matter. So and again, it's like I keep saying, it's something that's so new that people don't get it because it's not generically what normally happens in an esports organization. But we are a supportive organization, and that's what we want to try and promote more.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that's a real issue as well. I think because the industry is so new, and particularly streaming's only been picking up over. Well, I mean, it's been around for years, but it's only been picking up as like an actual way that you can, reliably make a career out of. You see these people who are literally giving up their jobs to go full-time streamer. That didn't happen 10 years ago. But the availability of the internet and streaming platforms like Twitch and YouTube and Facebook, is really making it actually possible. But because it's grown so fast, there's no structure to how you get to that level. It's kind of either the people who started early, or got lucky, or put in the really, really hard work,
Yeah.
and had maybe some of that bit of background experience, in marketing or whatever, or hit some lucky algorithm. So it's very much uncharted territory for a lot of people, and I know there's probably quite a lot of people in the chat today who have tried streaming. It tends to be the people who watch streams are the ones who want to give it a go. So even if they haven't tried it, they might try it in the future and go, hold on a minute, I don't really know what I'm doing. How do I make this work? There's no kind of guidance, and there's definitely no structure in going from a first-time streamer to somebody in the big leagues. So that's amazing. I'm glad to hear that you guys offer that support. So yeah, fantastic stuff. And did you say that you were offering it for any gamer, or
Absolutely.
so it doesn't have to be like an Overwatch or Apex
No,
play?
no, not at all. It's even if you're just a variety streamer, it's not based on what you do. It's kind of helping you to create your own brand and create your own channel and move that forward, which
Perfect.
is more the focus.
Perfect.
So many people saying we want to pet the dog.
I know. There was a thing going on earlier about pet the dog, and then somebody said, "Why is there no channel redemption for a pet the dog?" So I've put one in. Nobody's redeemed it yet, possibly because it's 100,000 points. Though, to be fair,
Oh really? Wow.
I did punish them quite heavily. You don't have to pet the dog if you don't want to. Don't give in to demands of chat.
She's a very cute dog, though.
Yeah, it looks very happy asleep there. So
she is, bless her.
Yeah, leave her be. She's cozy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I mean, you guys are obviously a family. We could see your dog in the background there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cute. What's it like being a family where you kind of live together, work together, and just like all the time? Is that put pressure on you guys, or is it easy? Do you find it difficult? How does it work?
Do you want to do this one, Luke?
Yeah, give it to Luke because I've had you twice on in a row, and it's time to hear Luke's dulcet tones.
It can be quite challenging at times, because like at the moment, obviously due to the current situations, I'm obviously working from home.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to finish work, and the first thing I want to do is kind of just like sit back, relax, and just play some video games.
Yeah.
Same thing with Kitty. Like whilst I'm doing my daytime job, Kitty is essentially sat next to me, making sure that Vulpine's running smoothly. And when Spooky comes home, like she kind of comes home. I'm still at work at the time, and so she just goes up. Like she just kind of goes upstairs like pretty much straight away, and and it's very difficult. Even though we can't leave, we essentially can't leave the house at the moment because again with everything going on. Even though, as I said, we don't leave the house. We very rarely see each other because either Spooky's upstairs on her PC, like Lizzie's on her PC, making sure Vulpine's running smoothly, or I'm on my PC, like either working or I'm playing video games, and it is quite challenging sometimes to try and kind of pry ourselves away from our passion, essentially.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I'm sure everybody's in a similar sort of boat, to be honest. Working from home. If you're able to work from home, then I think we all kind of understand the pressures there. Cool. All right. So it seems like you're coping pretty nicely with it then. Do you find time to kind of get out and away from Vulpine a little bit at all? Can you? Is there a separation there between work life and home life?
No, not really.
No.
Basically, as I said earlier, when I'm doing my daytime job, and basically as I said, Kitty is making sure that Vulpine is running smoothly. As soon as I finish work, I'm constantly checking over stuff as well. As like Kitty obviously does a lot more work than I do, so I don't want her to give me some kind of like death stares if to go, well, you don't really do much but play video games. Yeah, I just kind of, as I said earlier, I just kind of do like behind the scenes paperwork stuff.
That's quite funny that you said that, actually, because I was going to do a little exercise with you both, where I was going to make you shut your eyes, and then I was going to ask you both at the same time to hold up your left hand if you thought Lizzie did more work, and your right hand if you thought Luke did more work. So it's quite funny that you've just already said that.
Yeah.
Cool. I have promised chat that I would redeem the pet dog when we finish this stream, just to let you know, guys. By the way,
That's fine.
yeah.
That's fine. I mean, it's really, it kind of, because we're such a good team and the whole family is a team. So obviously Spooky gets involved as well, and we kind of throw ideas about. We can be cooking dinner and all three of us are in the kitchen talking about what
Yeah.
we're going to do for the next Overwatch match, or strats or comps or whatever, or what kind of team we're going to get in next. And it's kind of pulled us together as a family because we're all working towards the same goal. I think that's a good thing. So in terms of challenges, like Luke said, it's difficult because I'm not working at the minute, but he is. So it does mean that I take a lot of the front office stuff. So a lot of people do tend to see me a lot more than what they do Luke. But like he said, that's because he's doing a full-time job as well. So, this is a voluntary thing for us. This is not, even though it's a business, it's not necessarily a business in terms of, we're making money, which again kind of confuses people a bit. But it's something that has brought us together as family, I think, as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Guys, if you have any questions in the chat that I think are appropriate, please drop them in and I'll ask them as we go, or I'll ask them at the end. But I'm going to keep going. I've got one here, and this is actually from Dom, who's our content creator, head of content over here at the British Esports Association, and he wanted to ask you both, but I'll go to Luke first because I think it's probably more his kind of dream from a longer time. Have you had any memorable moments or achievements so far on the Vulpine journey?
Yeah, definitely. And I would say most of them have come very recently. Our Vulpine Dynamos, we're super proud of them. They over the past month and a half, maybe 2 months, they have been competing in the Elo Hell Esports Get Good EU tournament expert division, which
are they Overwatch? Are they?
Yes, yeah. Sorry, that's our Overwatch team. They have played out of their minds the past 2 months. They basically they came second in the whole tournament. They finished third in the league stage, and then once the league stage had finished, they went into playoffs, and they got all the way through to the grand finals, and unfortunately they lost out to them. But we finished second in the tournament, so we're super happy about that. And I've completely forgotten about the other one as well.
It's okay,
other achievement.
I'll come back to it. If you remember it later, that's fine. You can come back to it.
Yeah, I'll come back to it. But I feel like it was another Overwatch related one. So no, I've got Kitty shaking my head no. I'll do you want me to pass that over to you? Because obviously yeah,
swing it over to the other side of the court then, Lizzie.
So we actually came second in the European Esports Gaming Awards this year for
Fantastic
Organisation of the Year. It was again, it was one of those where we didn't really expect to do much at all, and we ended up, having friends and family friends of their family and everybody voting for us, which was just, again, it's humbling. Every time something like this happens to us in Vulpine, I kind of get taken back. And we were so close to winning. We were so close to winning, but we were up against a Spanish team a Spanish organization that had like 3,000 followers, I think, on Twitter alone. So, the actual chance of us winning was slim, but we did our best. And like I say again, the amount of people that voted for us to get us to second is just, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Considering how long we've been going. So that
Well,
was the
there's some nice comments from Greg there saying how so close it was. Number 2 in the vote, number 1 in our hearts, which I think is very, very nice of Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
But yeah, I mean, it's tough, isn't it? I mean, like you said, though, if you've only been going since April and you've already made this much, headway, that's really, really impressive. And, we're proud of you as well. Congratulations. It must have been, well, yeah, it's tough going up against somebody who's well established and already has this large following, and the fact that you're inspiring so many people already is just a good sign for things to come, isn't it? So well done there.
Thank you.
So let's talk about speaking of Greg, Coventry Crosshairs a little bit. I know you guys partnered with them for World Esports Day. Have you been involved with them at all for anything else? Because you're based in the same area, is that right? Or nearby?
Yeah, we are. We're based both based in the Midlands.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely based in the same area. So we started off getting. I don't actually know. Greg will probably remember more than I do, but we don't actually know how we started this. I think it was to do with World Esports Day. And yet we had the charity match, and we got to know Coventry Crosshairs quite well. And we have since then 2 of their Crosshair team members are actually in our academy team now. So we've got that real good interworking relationship with them. I'm actually doing a stream on Thursday talking about mental health and keeping positive when you're in games, and the Coventry Crosshairs are coming over to watch that as well. So we kind of sub for each other. So if anyone needs a ringer, Greg will come to me and go, "Can anybody ring?" And we'll do the same with them. It's great. It's a really good
Amazing
relationship.
That's fantastic. Obviously, Greg and Shubs and the Coventry Crosshairs take part in our British Esports Championships.
Yep, they do.
So they've been having a great performance this year. They also took part in summer charity matches for us before, and they've also Shubs was speaking on our panel for the Esports and Education Summit, which happened in November. So I mean, we've got a great relationship with them as well. Fully support their esports side of things at the college. What are your thoughts on the BEA's championships and our kind of progression over the last couple of years, and what our aims, to support the grassroots? Because obviously that's the kind of thing that would support your organisation in the future.
Absolutely, and we are looking to hopefully work with the BEA a lot more over the next sort of year. But the championships, I think, are a great introduction for schools and colleges to be able to get into that competitive scene and to get into esports and see what working in a professional team looks like and feels like, whether it's not just for the actual players as well, but for the staff, for the coaches. And I've seen it grow. Obviously, I've only been on the scene for 9 months, but I've seen it grow from even that point to the following that you're getting, and the amount of people in the amount of schools and colleges, I think it's amazing. And unfortunately we're not a school or college team, so we can't compete, but we support it 100%. We have we've actually got a section in our Discord that talks about keeping positive and introducing people to the careers in esports, and
brilliant.
we're going to try and push that a lot more. I think
you'll have to invite me.
Yeah, I will do.
Yeah,
I will do, definitely.
That's brilliant. I've got a comment here from Davey Space in the chat. One thing Vulpine should be proud of is that they have created a place for people to belong where other members are being supportive / positive / inclusive with little prompt from Kitty or Luke. They've proven the space they've created is needed in the industry, so thank you to you both. Love hearts. So yeah, very, very nice comments here from people in the chat at the moment. A question from Bauer TV. Does Luke have any pro tips for gamers to keep their cool in competitive matches? I think this one gets asked quite a lot, but Luke, go ahead.
Thank you, Bauer. I really appreciate that, buddy.
Is this someone you know, is it?
Yeah, this is definitely somebody I know.
Okay.
Any way of keeping cool in competitive matches, it's really difficult because with competitive matches, adrenaline is going. It's almost like going to a gym and exercise, right? you're constantly on edge, and if one thing goes wrong, people start kind of blowing up at teammates or starting to like have arguments with teammates and stuff, and it's really difficult, especially if in competitive matches. When it's more casual, it's the weight gets lifted a bit more.
For sure.
But keeping cool in competitive matches, what I would say is one thing to remember is that it is just a video game. I know it's such. I know it's just.
But it's
such
life.
yeah, I know exactly. It's such a cop out thing to say. I know. But at the end of the day, it is just a video game, and I do try and tell myself that whenever I'm starting to lose my cool. The other thing to do is to, if you know that your teammates are are about to lose their cool, try and give them some positive reinforcement, like you're doing okay. Things can still get better. If it doesn't say defeat on your screen, then you haven't lost the game.
That's very true.
And that's the kind of, I try and have that mentality as much as possible. If it doesn't say defeat on your screen, then you haven't lost the game. But that I do understand that when one team is so far fed, there has to be a point where you go, right, okay, there's nothing I can do here. Like the sorry. Like once the enemy team is fed, you've got to kind of just go, right, okay, that's it. There's nothing I can do here. There's nothing my team can do here. Just wait for the loss. Take like a 5-10 minute breather or something, or play like a different game that is actually fun for you, and is a super casual game where you don't have any kind of competitive elements to it. Just remind yourself on why gaming is fun, and then if you want to, go back to that game that that you lost your edge on, because sometimes it's just that little bit of a break that you need to reset your mentality and then go back into it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like to consider myself as untiltable now. I think that's because I tilted so hard years ago in League of Legends. And in fact, I think that game, which probably has, I'm not going to say well renowned, but it's very well known for its toxic environment and its toxic player base. And I think, playing in that kind of deep water of horrible toxicity pushed me over the edge past being toxic, and now I don't even look at it. I see it and I just go straight over my head, in one ear out the other. I don't actually get stressed or tilted anymore. It's very, very rare anyway. But I think it's just about that mindset. How are you going to deal with it when somebody's being inappropriate or being abusive? But you guys showing already through your work since April, how committed you are to kind of handling that pressure and handling those kind of nastier situations. So yeah, really, really happy. It's a difficult thing to police. Like, you can't ever control the internet. It's just going to be it's like a wild beast, kind of roaming through your living room. It doesn't really have a stop button or a mute button if somebody's. I mean, actually, it does have mute buttons. We can mute people all the time. That's probably one advice I would give if somebody's being mean. Just click them on mute. But yeah, so yeah, good advice. Thanks, Luke. Lizzie, did you have any advice for toxic environments? Just
Yeah, I mean, like I've already kind of mentioned it, but I'm actually doing a stream on Thursday to talk about tilting and how you tilt and what happens to you when you tilt, and some tips on kind of how to get through it. But generally, once you tilt in a game, you kind of lose focus. So you take the emphasis of what you're doing in your gameplay, and you kind of put it to what everybody else is doing, what your teammates are doing, what the opponents are doing. It's a bad game, it's a bad teammate, it's a bad opponent. And rather than doing that, is coming back and try and focus on what you're doing and your gameplay, and kind of narrow it down a bit more. But for me, obviously, esports psychology is a big thing, and it's something that I'm looking to do more of with the teams and within Vulpine, and hopefully with the BAA and with other people as well. So esports psychology is something that's fascinating to me. So all that kind of that tilting and getting frustrated is it's a natural reaction when something's not going the way you want it to. So it's very difficult to stop it, but there are tips and things that you can do, and that's something that, like I say, I'll be going over on Thursday with
And
people.
where can we find that if we wanted to go and watch that stream?
It will be at 7 p.m. on Thursday, the 10th of December, on the Vulpine Live Twitch channel.
Vulpine Live, perfect. All right,
Vulpine
I'll
Live
make sure that
channel.
we're hosting it anyway on the day.
Thank you.
I've got a question here in the chat. Do Vulpine have any funding, or do you turn any profits? Luke, do you have an answer for that one?
No is the answer to that question. Quite simply, basically all of our funding essentially comes out of mine and Lizzie's back pocket ourselves. Obviously, we have bills to pay just like the normal person, and like food shopping to buy and stuff. But any kind of spare money that we have, we try and throw at the organisation as much as possible.
Understood. Yeah, fair enough. That's a very similar boat with the British Esports Association, really, and our sort of CEO. He's doing a great job there, actually. Yeah. Kudos to the back pocket of people who are in charge of organisations like yourselves. Cool. All right. Well, I think we're more or less coming up towards the end. I've just got a couple more questions for you, and so if anybody else has anything in chat, that they want me to ask, or you want me to ask Lizzie and Luke, please put them in now, and I'll make sure I get them in. So I've got a question here again from Dom. What are your thoughts on the current state of UK esports, perhaps overall and at the grassroots level? Let's go with the overall state. Won't worry too much about the grassroots level, but because we do that quite heavily. But the current state of UK esports, Lizzie, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I think it's getting better. I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of getting people to understand what esports is about, understanding that it's more than just sitting at a desk playing computer games or in front of a console. It's actually, a viable profession for people. And I think that, generally esports, like I've said before, has been sort of very limited. And with the expansions with the women in esports, with the new esports BTEC and degrees coming out, I think is fantastic. It's it's one of the most amazing things for esports that's happened in a long time. And obviously, people like us and people like yourselves and like the World Esports Day that are kind of trying to promote not only the professionalism and the idea that you can actually have a profession, you can have a career in esports, as well as trying to, switch is the wrong word, but try and sort of integrate more people into esports and getting that education and getting that knowledge out there of what it's about. I mean, I'm sort of from an older generation, and people sort of my age, and I think we've kind of spoken to people about this before, don't tend to understand what esports is, and they don't understand what benefit it has for their kids, and what kind of career progression they can go into. And I think the fact that all this is starting to come together and be more open and be more positive and be more progressive, I think that the kids now that are starting to go into esports will actually see it more of a career rather than just a hobby. And that's from my point of view, and from my daughter, and for people who are sort of 14 to 16 or 14 to 18, I think and it's something that Vulpine, that we are going to try and work with a lot of these kids and try and get them more involved in esports. But I think generally it's getting there. I think we've got a long way to go, in terms of lessening that toxicity, creating more positive environments for people, getting that information out there. But generally, yeah, I think we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, good. I mean, that kind of leads into a little bit of the next question, which was, I was going to leave it open-ended, but I'll give it to Luke. It was kind of like, where do you see the future of esports in general, but not just esports in general, but Vulpine's position within esports in the future? Like, what are your ambitions and aims? Like, give me a 3 to 5 year rundown.
It's a 3 to 5 year rundown of Vulpine Esports is quite difficult because of one, how much we've accomplished in our not even our first year of operating.
All right, let's go
Um,
for the next 12 months then. Let's make it a bit easier.
For the next 12 months, we have set our sights on a couple of other gaming communities that
Okay.
we are looking to be a part of. We have recently announced that we have now got an Apex Legends team, and we are looking to get them into the Apex Legends Global Series, hosted by, I believe it's Respawn Entertainment themselves. So that's one thing that we're looking at getting into, and another thing that we're looking to get into as well is Counter-Strike.
Okay.
I personally have been in talks with a team who I'm basically just waiting on an update from, and then hopefully from there we can get them signed into Vulpine Esports and then get them competing in the ESEA.
That's fantastic. So all shooters, I noticed there. Is there any chance of a Valorant team perhaps, or exploring any other shooter games?
There was talks of it of exploring other shooter games such as Rogue Company, and Valorant has definitely crossed our mind and crossed discussion several times in the Vulpine Esports staff room. And I think it's more of the case of we don't want to push things too fast.
Yeah,
So
sure.
as of right now, we've kind of made the decision to go towards CS:GO and get that team up and running. See how well they need managing, if at all, and basically kind of take them under our wings for a little bit. See how they do, and then maybe towards the back end of the year of 2021, then we'll possibly look at maybe getting some other teams in as well.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I think that's probably the right move. You know, you've been going very fast already. Maybe, you know, it's good to ride the wave, but yeah, sometimes you just got to stick with what you can handle and take it at the right pace. Now I've got a question here for Lizzie in the chat from Davy Space. If you had the foresight of what you knew now with building an org/community, is there anything you would have done differently when you first started?
Not really.
No, we did it all perfectly.
Yeah, no. In terms of if I knew what I knew now, I think the only thing I might have done differently is, and I know this has come up a couple of times in chat, is obviously dealing with people who are generically toxic. I'm too soft.
Okay.
Basically.
So yeah,
So
be a bit sterner then if you did it again.
absolutely, I think if I started again now, I'd be a little bit stricter on who we had, and just not giving people too many chances. I'm all for giving people a second chance. If somebody messes up, that's absolutely fine. We're human beings; we all mess up.
Yeah, of course.
But if somebody's being consistently toxic, and we have had that previously, and we weren't quick enough to say, okay, enough's enough. That's probably one of the things that I'd do differently. The other thing I'd probably do differently is not put too much pressure on myself because of because Luke works and I do a lot of the work in terms of being in the Discord and just generally.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing sort of 18-hour days at times. I mean,
Wow.
esports doesn't sleep.
No.
No. You don't get days off. You don't get time off being ill. And I actually suffer with a disability that means that some days I can be in a lot of pain. And I think if I started again, I think I would take more time for myself and not put too much pressure on to be there 24 hours a day for people.
Yeah. You can't be expected to just be the permanent mother and babysitter of an
No.
organisation. It doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. And since I've done that and kind of passed stuff off and said to Luke after he finished work, I can't deal with this tonight. You're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's helped a lot of it, and a lot because we have a really good management team as well. We have is it 5 managers? Is it 5 managers we have now? because and they all understand that some days that I'm not 100%, is that they've been brilliant, and I'll just take things over for me and just say, okay, don't worry about it, we'll do it. We can sort stuff out. So
that's brilliant. Yeah, it's such an important thing to have a team that you can trust and rely on, and you don't feel like having a day off would be the end of the world, and that's good that you've got those guys to rely on. So yeah, I think that's quite important actually when you're particularly starting a business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have that core that you can trust and rely on. Another comment here from Greg just saying, congratulations for creating such a great org. They deserve all the praise they're getting for the work they're doing in esports. One question I would ask is who won the World Esports Day show match? Actually, I didn't ask. Who did win between Vulpine and Coventry?
Well, it wasn't us, Greg, and he already knows that.
I actually didn't know, so I didn't.
Yeah. They beat us.
Was it a good game at least?
It was an amazing game.
Yeah.
And I think, and to be fair to us, the strats that we used, they actually took on afterwards. So the comps that we used, they decided to mirror. So yeah. So we did have some kind of influence over them, even if we didn't win.
Brilliant. All right, guys. I think that's more or less everything I wanted to talk about. I've answered all the questions that Dom wanted me to ask you, so that's fantastic, and everything that I wanted to talk about. So I think there's only one more thing. If there's anything that you guys wanted to talk about, anything you wanted to add or ask me as part of the BEA, or kind of anything that we feel we haven't touched on, please feel free to go ahead now. And anyone in the chat, last chance. Here we go.
What you haven't asked Luke about what his favourite LoL champions and his ELO is.
Oh, Luke, are you a LoL player?
I thought I'd gotten away with it. Yes, I am a LoL player. I've been playing since season 5. So the days where you actually had to the old rune page system, which was absolutely flawed. You had to buy all your individual runes.
I remember it well.
I hated it so much.
I loved the day though when they changed it and we got that huge refund though.
Yes. What you mean when they brought in the Keystone Masteries?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was fun.
So favorite champions then, and your elo.
Okay, so I think my favorite champion has to be the one that I have the highest mastery on.
Okay.
Which so happens to be Nautilus.
Brilliant. I'm a Titan.
Yes, so I'm a tank support player. I have tried playing mages in the past. However, me and mages just do not get on well. There's only one mage that I think I can play relatively well, and that's Karma. But I believe that's because she has such a simple kit. And my elo, which, thank you, I didn't really want to bring up, is the highest rank I've ever gotten to on League of Legends is Silver 1, which I reached.
That's okay.
I reached that in not the preseason that we're currently in, but the preseason going from 2019 to 2020. I managed to reach Silver 1. But so far that has been my highest rank in my League of Legends playing career.
Yeah. It's an absolute roller coaster, that game. Honestly, you can be Silver 1 week, Silver 2 the next, Silver 5 the week after, and then Gold the next month. I don't know. It's it's so dependent on your team. It's probably one of the most team reliant games I've ever played. In other games, it's easier to carry, but particularly as you climb the ranks of League, solo carrying just becomes impossible. So anyway, I didn't mean to skip a question there. Sorry. I'm glad you pointed that one out. I think we got a good answer out of you there, Luke. And I just wanted to say thank you ever so much, both of you, for being on stream with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to interview you guys. I hope you've enjoyed it as well and felt comfortable at least. Yes. If you want to pet the dog, feel free, but don't feel like you have to. I am going to redeem it.
Do you want to bring it? Do you want to bring her over, babe?
The chat has been crying for a dog cuddle.
People will want to see it as to pet the dog, so I will go over.
I was going to say, yeah, go over.
Pet the dog to reach Gold 4.
The dog is she's about 15 years old now. She's about 15 and very sleepy and very tired, bless her heart. She's getting to the stage where she's starting to lose. She's a Labrador, so she's starting to lose the use of her back legs a little bit. So we kind of give her a little walks as much as we can. But yeah, she's generally, bless her, asleep most of the time. We also actually have a team cat.
A team cat.
We have a team cat. We actually have a cat that's in the team colours. So our team colours are orange, black and white, and kind of silvery grey. And we have a cat called Sakura, who's a calico cat, who's actually VLP Sakura. So most of the people in our Discord, or you see us around outside of here, all have that prefix VLP, which is obviously Vulpine. So Sakura, being the team cat, is VLP Sakura, and you'll kind of see her on our Twitter page now and again, as well as our beautiful old floof treacle.
Is that your only dog, or
She is, bless her.
Have you had dogs before, or is this?
Yeah, I grew up with them. My mum, we tended to have Alsatians and German Shepherds growing up, and kind of collie crosses. But yeah, I mean, she's the best dog in the world. I mean, bless her, she's so gentle and calm, and yeah, she's amazing. I will actually put some photos up on our Twitter page after the interview's finished. So
perfect. Yeah,
people can see the old floof better.
We need a place for pet photos in our life always, I think. If you want to just bring Luke back, and I'll end the interview if you don't mind. Cool. I mean, lots of dog photos in the chat, or dog photos, dog emotes. Oh my dog, everywhere. I can scroll up and I literally can't stop seeing them. But yeah, I think that was very much. Now we've got Pet the cat. You can't win with chat. I promise.
I would do. I would. I actually had visions of Sakura coming in, because she normally comes in and just jumps straight on me, doesn't she? Whether she's
she does.
Muddy or whatever. So
the worst time.
I had visions of her jumping on me. But again, I will put some pictures of Sakura. If people want to go and follow us on Twitter, I'll go and put some pictures of Sakura up there for everybody.
Brilliant. And what's your Twitter, just so I can shout it out? If you...
It is literally just Twitter, Twitter, obviously. My God. Twitter.com/Vulpine Esports.
There you go, everybody. If you want to go and check out some more pet pictures, head over to their Twitter and have a look. Guys, I wanted to say thank you ever so much for being with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to head over to single cam now and finish up the stream, but thank you ever so much. Any last words to your streams? Anything you want to plug?
Not really plugging anything, just saying thank you to everybody who supported us so far, and to keep an eye on us, because the only way is up now for Vulpine. We're doing amazing.
Great
and
stuff.
Thank you to the BEA as well, because they are an amazing organisation.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much. All right. Well, take care then. And I'll wish you both a Merry Christmas as well.
Because yes, and you. Merry Christmas.
Because it is December now. That is the done thing. My tree is already up. Right. Take care then, everybody. And see you later.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, guys, thank you ever so much for tuning in today. It's been a pleasure to have Vulpine Esports CEOs, co-leaders, I'm not sure, can't remember. Co-owners, that's the right word I was looking for. Pleasure to have Luke and Lizzie on today. As I said at the beginning of the stream, please do check out our final championship stream of this year, which will be on Wednesday. It's going to be Overwatch. It starts at 4 p.m. on this channel right here. So please do come back and support the teams. We will be back in spring for our spring season as well, which starts on January the 20th. Registrations are now open. So if you are from a school or college, or you're a teacher, or you want to be involved in any way, shape or form, please do go and check out the British Esports Champs website, which I will put in the chat right now. There you go. So you can go and sign up there if you want to take part next season. As for the streams, Dom will be back on Friday, fingers crossed, for a Sacco Snacko's Christmas cookery stream, doing some baking with Sue Collins, who is very, you may know from League of Legends. And of course, I will be back next week with some more Fun Friday Christmas quiz. Have a great week, everybody. It is Monday today, so Monday blues should be out of the way after a great interview with Vulpine, and I'll speak to you all on Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.